Hey guys, Serafina Christine here. Um, my travels are done and I am getting grounded in Vancouver, BC. I want to start doing crystal forecasts again, so this is going to be my first crystal forecast since the summer. The format is going to be a little bit different. I discovered for myself that doing a crystal forecast once a week was a little bit too much for me, especially while traveling. So even though I am grounded in Vancouver, I'm just going to do it once a month. And so my first month is for December. And if you're wondering about the low quality of the video, I'm recording it on my new laptop. However, I am in Canada and my iPhone was an American iPhone, so that had to be sent back to the States. So I'm happy though that everybody is really going to be able to hear me. I'm going to try to keep my head down or something while recording the channel because my glasses keep getting a glare from the blue light of my laptop. So without any further ado, let us begin this new format. And I'm actually going to take my glasses off for the channel just to make it so that you can see my eyes as best as you can with this quality. See. Anyways, let's start. I can't see anything now, but you can see my eyes. Okay. So we're going to talk about the first week of December. So that is December 1st to 8th. And our first card for this is Rose Quartz. And it's subtitled Forgiveness. So I'm just going to tune in and see what our first week is all about in December. Or the overview anyways. I'm being shown a graph, and it's like we start out like this and then we rise up and then we go back down a little bit, and I'm feeling like it's like the Thursday or the Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday area. That's when the graph kind of rises, and what I feel is that there's a shift inside the energy inside the heart chakra. It just kind of like I feel that there's an opening, like a big opening that is going to be occurring, just not individually there is, and on the masses. It's like as soon as I tune into the Thursday, it's like, whoo, starts to happen. I feel that there's a lot that is shifting. It's just, let me try to put it into words for you. It is as we wander through this forest of a world that we allow our hearts to open up and become a beam of light. It is a process of consciousness, of unveiling the true consciousness of who we really are, that our beam of light can really come forward. At this time on the planet, there is a shift that is happening, and we are all aware of this shift. This was the first year of a huge, huge new age that is happening inside of our lives, inside of humanity. And what is happening is that every year there's going to be an unravelment of the heart. And the unravelment of the heart is going to allow the light to shine more and more, because we are moving from the solar plexus to the heart. That's me right now. And this week, what is happening is there's going to be another unravelment of the heart, and we're going through a series of unravelments inside the heart, especially around December, and the time when a lot of people inside our culture and society, they really get together and they really have a lot of heart stuff come up, because we have family that is coming up. And family just brings up so much. Everyone. I think what is happening is we are coming into this line of consciousness where there's a heart opening that happens, a shift that happens. This is going to be stimulated by the forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others, and also by the love of self and the love of others, because it's all a reflection. And so as we turn internal, to really focus on our self-forgiveness for ourselves. And this self-forgiveness, I feel, is going to be very directly related to family issues and family lines and issues. And at this time, I'm being guided to remind you that all of these things that we have, I'm seeing strings tied to our heart that really binds our light. And all of these strings that bind our light are those things that we need to release and forgive. And so often we have a string, say, to our Father, and we say, oh no, we can't do this because we have this problem with our Father, and it's external. But it's really not external, it's really internal. It's really allowing to bind our heart. And so what is being asked, and what I feel like is happening, is that during this next week, we are really going to be asked to look at what are those things that are binding our heart, and is it really true that it's out there that is binding our heart, or is it in us? Is it in our minds, our ideas, and our heart centers that needs to be released? And this is a process of consciousness, of awareness. How much allowing your heart to be bound by a perception that is outside of yourself? And then there is the second reminder that comes in. And that reminder is that we will have issues with our fathers and our father's father and our father's father. And it's genealogical, it's an ancestral thing that comes up with us. And so, yes, it is not our problem. It has never been our problem. But guess what? It is our problem. Because we are in that lineage, and we are holding the space, and we are holding the awareness and the consciousness that is going to allow us to hold that problem and say, this is not my responsibility, but I take responsibility for it. And by taking responsibility for it, I heal it. And when I heal it inside my family lineage, my children no longer have this karma, this energy, this with them. And I hold it because I've given it back to the ancestors, and I have released it from the lineage. I have healed it from the lineage. And that is something that is really, really important. And that I see is going to be happening throughout the weeks of December for many of us, where we're going to be realizing that those things that bind us in our heart, they are not necessarily ours. They are other people, other families, other things. However, it is our responsibility to heal it inside of us. And as we heal it inside of us, then it gets released, and it is no longer binding anyone's heart at all. And this does not mean that you place blame on anybody outside of yourself. Oh yeah, my father had this problem, and therefore it is his problem, and it's his responsibility, and therefore I it's his fault. No, no. Somebody once said that it's not your responsibility. No, what was it? I can't remember what it is, but there was something along the lines of that we have been gifted problems that have been created by others. And so we can do the thing that many people do, which is simply go, oh, put the blinders on. That's not my problem. Not my problem. But he does that. Those problems don't get rectified, and the people who create those problems are probably not going to resolve them for many reasons. Maybe they don't see them. Maybe they don't feel capable. Maybe they are trying to resolve them. We don't know what's going on, but we do know that there is something that is happening. And then in order to make the world a better place, in order to facilitate healing on this planet and of ourselves and of humanity, we need to take responsibility for things that aren't necessarily ours. It's just like when we work with healing on the planet, we take responsibility for those and take responsibility for, because it is our problem. Living on Earth is kind of important for us. And so we take on the responsibility of healing the planet, even though we weren't the ones that created the problems necessarily. We may add to the problems, we may not add to the problems, but as long as we do our best, and that's the key here, as long as we do our best to facilitate the healing process of ourselves and others by taking responsibility for ourselves and helping to heal and the problems of ourselves, our ancestors, and those problems that we have in this world, then we are doing what we can. And then we are in alignment and in integrity of the healing process that we are helping to facilitate. There is one I feel clarified for this week, and that is healing has a new definition for myself. And this may resonate with you, and this may not resonate with yourself. But what I have discovered is that the healing process is really not about something being wrong with you. The healing process is really not about making something better. The healing process is about releasing that which no longer serves. And so when I talk about healing a family pattern, I am talking about releasing the family pattern so it no longer needs to exist within that lineage. So that is seeing the pattern in yourself and saying, with awareness and consciousness, wow, this is a pattern that I have inherited through my family line, and that my family line, my father has inherited from his father, and his father inherited from his father, for however long it goes back. Recognizing it and saying, this pattern is not me. Therefore, and that can be done in ceremony by yourself or in ceremony with other people, or it can be done through ancestral healing work. It can be done in very, very, very numerous ways. And that is what I mean by healing now, in this week, that is going to come up. The healing is the release of those things that no longer serve you. It's the same thing with the planet. Healing by releasing those things that no longer serve both of us. In the any ways, in the best ways that we can, as best we can. There is no crystal for this week. So we're going to go to week 2. And week 2, I wrote down the dates so I could be a little bit more professional, but I don't think I'm very professional. Anyways, week 2 is December 8th to December 15th. Our card is Tanzanite, which is an angelic messenger. As the trees grow, and the sun and the moon, the stars shine down, feeding the roots, then it shall grow. So with this card, there is a lot that comes up inside the solar plexus area, and there's a lot that comes up with the crown chakra area. The first feeling that I have when I touch the card for this is a feeling of lightness, joy, a feeling of just like, oh God, all the stuff that I came to be aware of is just gone. It's lifted up. It's there we go. It's done. And I really recommend that in the previous week, you just brush it all off of you. You don't need it. Why are you carrying it all around with you? Just get rid of it and use your hands and do this on yourself and really just let it go. Let it go energetically. Let it go mentally. Just don't worry. No reason, because there's this lightness of energy that comes up with the second week. It's like we step into this flow and we just really start to feel light, like, wow, I really got somewhere. I really am me for once. And I really feel that there's a strong connection to stepping into the solar plexus, stepping into our power, and really feeling like the shift of energy into our power. And yeah, and this is what this week is about. It's I am. I am that I am, and I am. And that's a really powerful statement. I am. There's several different meditations that you can do, including the I am meditation in Kundalini Yoga, which you may be interested in, where you have your hand about 6 inches apart. This hand is in Gaya Mudra, which is like this, and that's on your knee. You're in easy pose. And you close your eyes, focused at the tip of the nose. I think your eyes are open 9 times. Eyes are open 10. And you go, I am. Your hand goes out about 1.5 feet. I am. And you breathe in and you go, I am. And you breathe out, I am. And there's a beautiful meditation that you can find on by Sanatam Kaur. With that can guide you through that for 11 minutes of really embedding the power of I am. There's also a lot of I am work in the New Age community, I guess, a little bit more of the esoteric side of calling in the I am presence and really learning about the I am presence and really learning about the strength and the power of I am, those words. And I feel that that is important for this week because this week we're really going to I am sense of the words and the I am power. And we're going to start to feel our souls start to come alive and start to come through us more than they have before because we've released everything. So we become more ourselves. There's a connection up here on the crown chakra and the etheric realms, and that's part of where the lightness comes in because I feel that there's going to be more information that's going to be available to us, especially through this process. It feels like the angelic realm is activated. I'm not sure why, but it just feels that there's a really overwhelming sensation of angels that's this week, of them really coming to aid, of them really being noticed by us. And so I also recommend that you call in your angels. And if you don't believe in angels, there's several ways that you can go with it. Angels would be really, really helpful. If you don't believe in angels, then just call on the angelic presence of yourself, because that works as well. Archangel Michael will be around that week a lot. You'll be noticing him a lot. I'm getting a sense and I'm seeing a picture of him standing strong with his sword. And he's the one that's helping us get into the I am and reminding us of the I am presence. I've been asked to pick up a crystal. So it's this guy. One of my Ulexilites that is beautiful, that I love. What I see immediately is I see a heart with stitches, gold stitches. I'm being told that the heart is mended. As the heart is mended, we feel the lightness of life come and overtake ourselves. This lightness of life comes into joy, and joy is one of the highest points of our existence that we can have. When we have joy, we fall into this grace that guides us, that becomes us, that we are, and all desires are instantaneously. But this life is not all about the desires. The life is about the spiritual attainment. And the more that we find ourselves in the spiritual attainment of things, the more we find ourselves inside. And the more we find that internal joy, that is how we stitch up our heart and it becomes mended. And we find that all our desires instantaneously become manifested. The more we are in the frequency of joy and allowing joy into our lives. Don't be scared of joy. In our society, there tends to be this idea that being negative, happy, you're too cheerful, you're too whatever, because somebody can't handle the fact that there is true happiness inside this world. And that is a thing to find compassion for and to help change. Because joy is where we're supposed to be. Joy is a natural state of being that brings to us all that we desire. Why would we not want to be in joy? But it has been trained into us psychologically, often subconsciously, that to be joyful is to be too happy. Why is there such a thing as being too happy? Oh, the words of the English language. To be too happy is to be bliss. To be in bliss is to be true. And to be true is to be you. So why would you not want to be in joy? And when somebody says, you are too happy, you're too joyful, you're too preppy, you're too cheerful, anything like that, just say, thank you, and give them compassion. Inside your heart, allow your heart to swarm over them with compassion and love. For they do not think it is possible to be that happy. If it is possible, then it's a bad thing, and they will naturally stop themselves from being happy. They will stop themselves from being happy. Stop it. Don't do it. Don't let yourself stop yourself from being happy. Don't stop yourself from the joy. Become more and more who you are. You can't help but have that joy rise up inside of yourself. And as long as the mind is kept at bay, that joy will always come forward. And that is how we learn to train our mind so that our joy and our deepest bliss will always be there. Always. And there is no worry then, because we know in our joy that all things are provided for us. They always have been, they always will be. This is an abundant universe. I'm guided to go on to the next card. And so the next card is Lepidolite, Conscious Feeling, and the next week is December 15th to the 22nd. Lepidolite, Conscious Feeling. We've come through the awareness and the consciousness and then the release. And now we come to standing firm. We expand our consciousness once more, really being present inside of our bodies. This is not a time to disappear into the ethers. This is not a time to disappear into the lack of self-responsibility. This is not a time to say, oh, I've done all my work and there we go. Because it is not work, it is play. It is not work because it's release. Everything that we do in the spiritual path is about the attainment of the self-realization and about the God consciousness and the Christ consciousness. All that we need to do in order to attain that is release, including Serafina, Christine. The releasing can be a bit of a challenge, which is understandable. But do not look at the spiritual path as work, for it is not work. It is play. It is release. It is the path to becoming truly who you are. It is to your authenticity that we find this. And that is why the spiritual path can be anything. The spiritual path could be music and making music, because if that music is allowing you to release those things that keep you from being who you really are, then it is a spiritual way of life. It is a spiritual path. It could be that your path is working in, and when you work in retail, you are releasing all of those things that are not serving you, that keep you from being who you really are. Then that is your path, and that is your way to your authenticity. And the path to authenticity is the spiritual path. The path to authenticity is the path of self-knowledge and self-awareness. It is the path of consciousness, because in order to be who you really are, in order to be authentic to who you are, you need to get rid of all those programs that you have picked up along your journey. And you need to release all of those. Those are not you. You are not a victim. You are not victim consciousness on any level. Your wounds are not you. Your programs are not you. Your ideas are not you. Your beliefs are not even you. You are beyond that. And when you are you, you are authentic. So you see, the path to authenticity is the spiritual path to liberation. It is often, though, that we forget. When we release everything and we are just us, that is when we feel the bliss. And we often forget because we don't feel like we can be who we really are. We don't feel safe being who we are. And we often, what I'm being shown is that we go into years and years and years and years of meditation just to learn to witness the mind and to train the mind so the mind does not continue with us in our games. You are not your stories. You are not your fantasies. You are not your desires. And you are not your attachments. You are not any of this. We have so many spiritual paths that tell us this over and over and over again, that we can learn to create separation from ourselves and what is not us, so that we can say to those things that are not us, we can say, thank you for your service. Thank you. You have helped me get to who I am today and to where I am. Now I release you because I no longer need you and I see you. The goal of any self-liberated path is to become more authentically who you are. And as you become more authentically who you are, your inner wisdom starts to grow and become who you are. And by action, thought, and deed, you step to your full embodiment of who you are and who you were meant to be in this lifetime. And you see that the roles that you have to play inside this lifetime, you see what those roles are, and you know, that is not me. But I play that role because that role is assisting those beings that interact with that role on their own path of evolution to their authenticity. At our deepest core and our authentic selves, we are all beings of unconditional love. Love is unconditional love. And our unconditional love, to me, is Source and the universe. And that Source and that universe that makes us up, we are a sliver of it, and that unconditional love is us. And when we are that unconditional love, we are authentic. We have no thoughts or games or plans or fantasies or desires. When we are in our unconditional love, we are compassionate and we are there in the present moment, witnessing all that is happening, allowing our souls to enact through us with the bliss that comes through being who we are. In those moments, we don't have any ideas behind what we do. We just do what we do with the purity of heart that we are. We aren't concerned about anything else. And we've lost this ability in a world that we've created. Maybe not you, but our ancestors have created a world we don't feel that authenticity can be true and that we can get what we need when we are our authentic selves. The thing is that as we step into our authenticity, the universe conspires. The source conspires. Everything conspires to give what we need in this life. And often we have to go through a bunch of things because we have to release all those things that make us incapable of receiving that which is ours, that which is our birthright, which is abundance. I came to the realization a few days ago that Buddha was abundant. And Buddha had gone through all sorts of lessons that had really instilled in him that no matter what he does, no matter where he is, he will always consistently be taken care of. He had reached a point of such certainty that he had realized that about his abundance. And there's a difference about knowing and the realization. The realization is the experiential wisdom of enlightenment. It does not allow you to experience. Knowing is important because we start to contemplate. And as we start to contemplate these ideas, we draw to us the experience of realization of these various ideas that we have. And so Serafina struggles because she has these ideas inside her body, ideas inside her mind, that this is an abundant universe, but she has not yet realized it. And that is everything will change inside her experience of reality to blossom. Buddha had the realization, and he knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he would always be provided for, always be taken care of, and whatever his experiences are that have led up to that, that was it. And so, in this period in time, it's the same thing. We must go through those lessons and those ways of being until we realize how truly abundant we are. And that is part of being authentic, is really realizing various things about yourself and releasing those things that don't match, that just don't match anymore, because you've realized the depth of who you are at soul level and allowed that authenticity to come into play, to come into being, and really honoring that authentic self of you. The next card that we have is for December 22nd to 29th. This is the last card that we have in this series, and it is Botswana, Agate. Breathe. This is a week of relaxation. This is the week where we have to sit back. We allow ourselves to relax, breathing into our bodies, breathing into the moment. I see that present moments is a really important part of this week, of just doing our best to stay in the present moment, to really enjoy all the moments that we have, really enjoy the people that are around us, and to enjoy what we are doing. I see that the breath is important in this because the breath connects us to this present moment. Often if we are aware of our breathing, then we are aware of what is going on around us, and we are not taken away in the spiral of the mind, way, way, way out there. But we are here in our heart center. Attention, perceiving, witnessing, allowing our own realizations to come forward about who we are, seeing the process that we are undergoing, seeing the other people and what they are going through, witnessing the evolutionary journeys of various people inside our family and inside our friends, but doing it with joy. Really knowing that there is nowhere else for you to be but here. There is nowhere else for you to be but here. You do not need to be in the future, and you do not need to be in the past. Those two places don't exist in the now. The only place that exists in the now is where you are and where your breath is. That's it. That's all. This is the week of Christmas. This is the week of family. Let this week wash you over with love that you receive when you're present. And let your love wash over all those around you as you are present. Allow your presence to ground into your body and to become who you are, because it is who you are. Just breathe. Love guide today. Let love be here. Let spirit wash over you. Let your soul wash over you. Breathe in deeply the present moment of each moment. There is nothing more. So just breathe it in. Allow your heart to just sink into this moment. Between the breath. Let your days be a meditation that does not take you away, but brings you in to the depth of each moment. And all that needs to be done for that is make sure your mind has not taken you to the future or to the past, that you are just here. And that concludes, oh wow, my hair is really